Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Chat Black, where we chat about all things Black. And I have a very, very special guest with me, Nathan Hale Williams, filmmaker extraordinaire. Welcome to the show, Nathan.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you for being here. It's funny. I ran across I would see maybe your name here and there in my social media feeds, and then when I saw that you were a part of All Boys Aren't Blue, that's when I started doing my investigation to see who you were. So tell us how you got involved in that project and what was your experience like?
Well, it was definitely divinely ordered. I had just finished reading the book and I didn't know George. I knew of George, but I didn't know them directly. And so I said to myself after I finished reading the book that I was going to figure out a way to reach out to them to let them know how much I appreciated the book, how much so much of it resonated with my own experiences, and that how I just felt I knew it was going to make such a great impact. And then like clockwork, my longtime collaborating partner, Amara Kennedy from Black at AHF, called me with George on the phone, and they were cooking up a dramatic reading. And it was it was November 2020, and I literally was exhausted, and I had planned on taking all of December off because I used 2020 to really work and create, and I worked 6 days a week, and I really pushed through. It also kept me sane to be working so much. I didn't really get a chance to focus on all the stuff that was going on. But you can't say no to those kinds of serendipitous, experiences, or, when the divine comes in and says, do this, you must. And I'm so glad I did say yes. I'm so glad I did listen to Spirit, because it really was an amazing experience from beginning to end. And it's ongoing right now.
Nice. Yeah, I am a filmmaker myself and an actor. And one of the things that I really appreciated seeing what you did visually with the piece, because it could have really just been the guys in a room reading the piece, but I love the other elements that you added to it. Can you tell me what your vision was for that?
So yeah, that's exactly what my vision was when, they approached me with it. Amara and George just said a dramatic reading. And I said, well, how much leeway do I have to make it my own and really like go in and really make it a film? It's a film. And I don't think that they expected it to be as evolved as it was, but that was my vision for it. I really wanted to elevate the work in a way that that included a cinematic experience and not just your typical dramatic reading. The tone of it was as if we were in a Harlem speakeasy, and these performers got up to perform, and we were transcended into their world, which is why you get all of the B-roll and the imagery from George's life and the music, and I really wanted to have amazing actors, and so I was very blessed. Each of those actors, top notch. Delon Burnside, as people mostly know him from Pose, but what I've come to learn is that Delon has a very extensive theatrical background. Bernard David Jones, just a very quiet and wonderful virtuoso type performance. And then Tommy Hobson and I have known each other for years. He's also got a great theatrical background, and I'm from the theater too myself. So I always lean towards people who have some theater training. I really think it's really easy for theater actors to translate into film versus the other way.
Nice. So tell me a little bit, you talked about your theater background. And so tell me what your journey was. Just talk to us about where you came from, your journey into the arts and into filmmaking, how you got here.
So, well, that's a long story. So I started performing when I was a kid in Chicago at, ETA Creative Arts Foundation, which is a great, Black theater in Chicago. And I had an agent and was booking commercials and stuff like that. And then I got to a point where I grew I had a growth spurt, and I think I was almost, 6 feet at like 12 or 13. And then I stopped booking stuff. And my mom, was never really, she wasn't against it and she wasn't for it. Whatever I wanted to do, she was supportive of it. But what she was against was for me to start internalizing the rejection that you get, in auditioning. So she said, school is your priority. And so do that. And if you want to circle back when you're older and more equipped to deal with this amount of rejection, then it'll be there. And I really think that was such a wise thing, because we see so many times that child actors and child performers, it doesn't end well. The great majority of them don't end well because this business is really difficult. So I continue to do school plays and stuff like that. And I went to college, and I had every intention on being an actor. And then I came out to LA one summer between junior and senior year of college, and I realized that acting wasn't really where I wanted to be, that was not the ministry that I was supposed to do. And I read this article by Deborah Martin Chase, who is now, one of the biggest producers in Hollywood. And she talked about her job in producing. And I said, oh, that's what I want to do. I want to be behind the scenes. I want to create it. I want to be in charge. I also like steak better than pork and beans. So I didn't really want to be a starving actor. And so I went and then she also talked about how much law school helped her in her day-to-day job in producing. So I decided to go to law school kind of on a whim, and went to law school, and I left law school and started practicing. And then I linked up with Richard Pelzer. He became one of my clients, and he also had a management agency. And so he made me a deal that if he was like, I know you used to act and model and all that kind of stuff. Would you think about doing it again? And I was like, no, I'm a serious lawyer. And so he made me a deal and said, if I didn't book anything, then I was just his lawyer. If I booked something, then I was his lawyer and his client. And then I started booking stuff. And the very first film that I did was called The Ski Trip. And I was cast in The Ski Trip first. And then I noticed that we didn't have any paperwork and, any documents and all that. And so I made them a deal and said, I would do their paperwork and do all the legal work if they made me a producer. And then the rest, they say, is history.
Nice. How did you get into starting your company, Hale Entertainment?
Well, I started it right when we produced The Ski Trip, right after we signed the deal with Logo. The Ski Trip was Logo's first premiere movie when it premiered in 2005. So I started Hale Entertainment then. It's a play on my name, obviously. It's a play on marijuana, obviously, and other things. But really, our mantra is evolved. It's inhale our entertainment, exhale life, right? And so, our goal here is to create content that uplifts, empowers, and then effectuates great change, right? So we do social justice, message filming, entertainment, but with a spoonful of sugar, so you don't know that the message is coming at you. And so I started that I believe in 2005, and then we've been going. It's been me for the most part ever since. And then along the way, Richard has kind of been my partner for the last 15 years.
Wow, nice. Let's talk about your documentary, It Can Be Done, Ending Homelessness in America. I was very moved by the trailer that I saw, and it's a subject matter that I'm also passionate about. I would love to know what prompted you to make a documentary about homelessness, and tell me about that process and what that experience is like.
So the work was commissioned by the Healthy Housing Foundation, which is an organization here that is dedicated to helping put a dent in the homeless crisis in LA. If you walk around LA, you can't miss it. It doesn't matter if you live in Beverly Hills or Santa Monica or if you're downtown in Skid Row. homelessness is everywhere. You know, at any given point, we have 70,000 people without adequate shelter in the LA County on any given night. So it is definitely, we are the epicenter of the crisis, right? So you can't miss it. So when Samantha Granberry, who was then at the Healthy Housing Foundation, approached me about doing this film, it was originally supposed to be a short film based on their efforts around a proposition on the 2018 ballot. But over time, I had so much footage. I asked, could I, expand it to a feature-length documentary? So it really chronicles the Healthy Housing's found. Well, it starts off, the first act is really about how did we get here? How did we get to this crisis in LA, and then using LA as not necessarily a model, but a case study in how rising rents and gentrification really lead to homeless crisis. We have in Los Angeles, in the luxury high rises that they keep building, in any given one of them, you have anywhere from 20% to 60% vacancies, but we don't have affordable housing. And the average rent prices have just tripled and quadrupled in some places, making it utterly unaffordable to live here for most people who make anything less than $100,000. So I knew it was a crisis, and I didn't know as much about it then going into it. I felt that it was an opportunity. It was aligned with what we do at Inhale Entertainment. And I can just say that in the 2.5 years that we spent making that film, I learned so much, and it's now become one of those issues that is really important to me, because it's one of those things that we have a lot of stuff, right, in our society that needs fixing and that needs help. Homelessness is actually one of those things that we actually can fix. It just takes some commitment and focus and the right allocation of resources to really combat it.
People would come from other cities and they would say, I can't believe how clean Los Angeles is. You had to go downtown to a few blocks called Skid Row.
It is where the homeless and destitute have been centered in downtown Los Angeles for more than a century.
Do we want to live in a city that everywhere you look, there are homeless encampments? That's not the California dream. I mean, the California dream is dying.
So how did we get here?
Nowhere in this country are more people sleeping on the street everywhere, every night than Los Angeles. I mean, by huge numbers. Nowhere.
Mm-hmm. I know a project like this can be really transformative, and it sounds like you had that type of experience with this material. What do you want viewers to take away from this film?
I want viewers to first understand how we got here. And I also want viewers to understand that we all serve a role in doing our part. We can't just, check off a ballot initiative like we do here in California and then expect the government to go and do it. The government does it inefficiently. And we challenge the government in this documentary. What they spend on renovating housing for the homeless is what people spend on luxury apartments. And what the Healthy Housing Foundation is doing it for a fraction of the cost, and they're doing it quicker, and they're doing it in a way where they're rehabbing existing structures that are vacant and not being used, which puts so many more rooms online quickly. Mm-hmm. And we have to, as citizens, press the government to do it more efficiently and pay attention. I know we all have individually a lot going on in our lives, but, the government has a role, but we also have a role as the citizenry to pressing them to do more.
Indeed. And you have a screening coming up. Am I correct about that?
Yes.
At the Pan-African Film Festival. Tell us about that.
So yeah, it'll make its world premiere at the Pan-African Film Festival, which is going to be online. The Pan-African Film Festival holds is near and dear to my heart. I think this is my third film that's premiered at the Pan-African Film Festival. I've won awards there before, and it's the largest collection of Black films in America. And they've just been really, really good to me and our team, and what Danny Glover and Babu and Alfred Woodard have done with the festival is just really amazing. And it really is a destination for Black filmmakers. And as we know, as filmmakers, they don't see us, everywhere. And they don't see our content. They don't see, they don't see what is important to us everywhere. And so it's really important to have these repositories where Black film is celebrated, Black filmmakers are celebrated, and Pan-African is one of the festivals that does it really well.
Nice. We'll look out for that. Tell us what you have. Are you working on anything, or is there anything brewing in your mind? Anything that's coming up soon, or you're going into working on?
Yeah, well, obviously I just finished All Boys Aren't Blue. That was kind of a rapid fire production. We went into pre-production at the beginning of December. We shot it January 7th, and it premiered February 8th. So as my partner Richard says, we did like 5 or 6 months worth of work in 24 days. So I'm taking a break from production because producing in COVID is very onerous. And so I have I'm shopping a pilot, just started shopping a pilot based on my novel called Ladies Who Lunch and Love. And then in September, I will shoot a feature-length film called Honestly Speaking, which is inspired by my award-winning film 90 Days, which is a short film. And so I'm writing that right now, but we will shoot that in Chicago in September. And then I have a puppet series that is making its rounds, and we have some good conversations going on. So stay tuned about that. And I'm always writing. I have a new book coming out this spring called Beyond the Pie, True Diversity to Beyond the Pie Graph. Children's book coming out in the summer called The Eggles. I used 2020. I was working my tail off. So we have a lot of stuff coming out that I worked on in 2020, but next up for production would be Honestly Speaking in September, and then, shopping these TV shows. And then obviously something always invariably comes up in the middle of it. And and if it's good, I say yes to it.
Yeah, most definitely. I'd like to know, before I let you go, who are your inspirations in terms of filmmaking, or it could be beyond that?
So, my mom has always been my inspiration about, she's the first person that I saw be excellent and be dependable and reliable and give her best to whatever she does and be committed to not only her job, but the community. And so I had that great role model. My grandfather, who I call my big daddy, is my, he's since left us. He's got his heavenly wings. It was my, role model of what it meant to be a man professionally. My idols are Deborah Martin Chase. I love what she has done with her career and trailblazing. Lee Daniels is a friend and a mentor. I look up to him. And my favorite filmmaker of all time is Steven Spielberg. I hope so far I've met all of my idols except for Steven Spielberg. So, and Oprah just in general is a media maven. And I've interviewed Oprah. So, that was a pinch me moment. But Steven Spielberg is my favorite filmmaker.
Nice. Well, I know you're going to get an opportunity to meet, maybe even work with him one day.
Praise God.
Most definitely. Before we go, let's shout out your social medias, your website, all of that stuff.
Okay, great. On Instagram and Twitter, I'm Nathan H. Williams. Our website is www.inhalent.com. That's www.inhalent.com, and everything is on there. And then on my Instagram, there's a link tree with all of our other things, but it's my name, Nathan H. Williams, but not Nathan Hale Williams. That's just a placeholder account. Don't tag that one. It's Nathan H. Williams.
Gotcha. Well, we will be following Nathan. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your creativity and how you're giving it to the world. We're going to be looking for those projects, and we're going to be rooting for you, man. So thank you.
I appreciate it. And you keep me posted on your films and how I can support, and if I can come back and chat again.
Oh, yeah, I love it. All right. Well,
all right.
Thank you, everyone, for watching, and we'll see you next time.